Hi, Janet, or Linda, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Ooh, that is really quiet.
So on that one, click on that. I put it as, not that, this microphone on that little. Put it to 100 if you want, or 90.
Linda, can you try speaking again? We're trying to fix the volume.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so go ahead and turn it to 100%. Then I would just.
Now and then I can always lower it when.
Yeah, do like 96 maybe, whatever. But it's up to you.
We wrote some Christmas cards and whatnot.
From a participant standpoint, down at the bottom they have to click on participants, and they'll get that right hand thing like you have, and at the bottom of it it says raise hand. They would have to click, not there, they would have to click participants. So click participants again. Right hand thing.
Over here.
And then what happens is down in the bottom right where your three dots are, that's where mine was to raise hand.
Okay.
You don't have it because you're the meeting. They would have that option right there. It just says raise hand.
Okay.
So you won't see it. They will.
Well, and that's why I couldn't tell them how to fix it because I was like,
Welcome to the Oroville City Council meeting of January 5th, 2021. Calling this meeting to order. Stand with me for the, Madam Clerk, may I have the roll? Sorry.
Councilmember Pittman?
Here.
Councilmember Smith?
Here.
Councilmember Draper?
Here.
Councilmember Hatley?
Here.
Councilmember Goodson? Councilmember Goodson? Vice Mayor Thompson?
Here.
Mayor Reynolds?
Here.
She appears to be now present.
Councilmember Goodson?
She's muted.
You're muted. Sorry.
Here.
Thank you.
Will you stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Salute. Pledge.
pledge allegiance to the flag
Allegiance to
of the
the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Looking for a motion to adopt the agenda.
I move that we adopt the agenda.
I'll second that.
Mr. Mayor, before the vote, I would just like to make one amendment to the agenda, if I could, please. The agenda, the numbering is incorrect. I would like to remove the second item, number 4 and number 5, and change those two items 6, 7, and 8 under the regular agenda. It was misnumbered. So all I'm doing is changing the numbering, but leaving the items the same. Thank you.
So, Smith and Draper.
Oh, yes.
Councilmember Goodson. Councilmember Goodson.
Yes.
Councilmember Draper.
Yes.
The motion carries with 7 yeses and 0 nos.
At this time, we will open the meeting up for public communication. This is a time to address the council about any items that are not listed on the agenda. If you wish to address the council on an item listed on the agenda, please follow the directions listed above. Do we have any speakers?
Are there any public speakers on public comment? Mr. Mayor, I'm not seeing any hands raised or individuals requesting to speak on public comment.
Having none, at this time we'll close public communication. And I'm looking for a motion to adopt the consent calendar.
I move that we adopt the consent calendar.
I'll second that.
Councilmember Goodson.
Yes.
Councilmember Draper.
Yes.
The motion carries with 7 yeses and 0 nos.
At this time, we will move on to presentations and oath of office. Item number 1 would be recognition of outgoing council member Linda Draper. Did Councilmember Hatley wish to speak on this item?
Yeah. Yes, thank you. What I'd like, can we get this back? Well, I can't see them, but I guess they're there.
They're
Okay.
on behind you over here, Mr. Hatley.
Oh,
I guess it doesn't
okay.
project down here.
Okay. Well,
Hold on.
There she is.
I have, I'd just like to say a few words before I read the plaque for Linda Draper. I've served with her for 4 years on this council. It's been my privilege, my honor to serve with her. I've known her for these last 4 years to be very dedicated and honest. Her decisions were based upon all the work that she put in to verify the information that she was trying to vote on. And so it was just nice to see that she had no agenda that I ever saw or even thought that she had for her own self. She just didn't. It was for the public. It was for the people that she served, and she served everyone. She took money out of her own pocket and helped people that didn't have a way or a means to live and get by, and I think that's just admirable for anybody in this. Usually, it's hard to find people in public service, as we all know, to step forward and do this because you take a lot. You're not going to please everybody. You're going to get talked about. Your family's going to get talked about. You just have to have a thick skin and go on and know that you're doing the best that you can do. and the best that you want to do for your community. And I found Linda to do that. And so it's been a real privilege and an honor, and I'm going to miss you. And with that, I have a plaque for you. It says, "In recognition and appreciation of Linda Draper for your dedicated service to the city of Oroville as a city council member from January 2017 to January 2021. Congratulations and enjoy your retirement."
And if I could just add a couple words, Councilperson Draper, I think the dates on the plaque are significant. January of 17 was approximately 1 month prior to the failure of the spillway. Your time on council has been filled with, it seems like one catastrophe after another. Not by your doing, but just the timing just happened to hit that way. And I know it's been a very difficult time to be a council person. I mean, if it wasn't for, we had the spillway failure, we had the campfire, we had the bear fire, the North Complex, the wall fire, and then to top it all off, like the cherry on top, was a pandemic. And in the middle of that, we had some public safety power shutoffs, and, you name it, and it's kind of been throwing down the thing. I want to say thank you for your dedication to the city and to the community. And on behalf of my staff, thank you for your service. We recognize how difficult of a job that it is to be a council person, because it doesn't matter if you are at a crossroad and if you go right, you go left, you go straight, or you stop, you're wrong. So it's a very difficult position. I know that all the council, including the current members and yourself, you try to make the best decisions that you can for the community with the information that you're provided. We're grateful for that. Thank you for giving of yourself. Thank your family for giving of their time so that you could serve as well. I know that we haven't always agreed. I mean, we've had some disagreements, both public and private. I can tell you that I have nothing but respect for you, and that I believe that every time that we have disagreed, it isn't a personal thing. It is a way of pushing me and making me better and do a better job. And I have to say thank you for that. I appreciate that. I didn't appreciate it at the time, but I have learned from that, and I've learned from you. So thank you. Thank you for the effort and time you put into me, and thank you for the effort and time you put into the city.
Thank you.
Anyone
Thank
else?
you, both of you, very much. And I would just like to add that I'd like to thank the people of Oroville for trusting me to be on the council for 4 years. It has been a really wonderful experience overall. I would do it again. And in fact, I may do it again in a few years. But I appreciate the opportunity to serve. It has been a real honor for me, and thank you.
All right, moving on to item number 2, swearing in ceremony for council members Janet Goodson, Chrissy Riggs, and Scott Thompson.
Mr. Mayor, this is kind of a first thing we've ever done, so we are going to begin the process. I'd like to begin it with starting with Councilperson Goodson. We've never sworn anybody in virtually before, but I guess there's a first time for everything, and tonight we're going to do it. So, Councilperson Goodson, you kind of know the drill on this about raising your right hand and things like that. It's going to be a little more difficult because I'm not sure if you have a copy of the oath, but if you do, it makes it easier because the will and where and all of that run together are kind of difficult when they're read and you have to repeat back. So if you do, please grab that copy if you have it handy. And Mr. Mayor, if you could, when Councilperson Goodson is ready to go, if you would swear her in, then followed by Councilperson-elect Griggs and Vice Mayor Thompson.
Okay. Councilmember Goodson, can you see me from there?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Great. Can I use this? I'll bring it back. All right, this first part is this is actually the clerk, the certificate that you signed with the clerk, but I'm going to replace Jackie's name with my own just for ceremonial purposes. I, Chuck Reynolds, Mayor of the City of Oroville, County of Butte, State of California, do hereby certify that a general municipal election held in the City of Oroville on the 3rd day of November, 2020, Janet, I don't have your thing, Councilmember Goodson. Janet Goodson was duly elected to the office of City Council as appears by the official returns of the election and the statement of votes cast now on file in the City Clerk's office. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and affixed the official seal of this 5th day of January 2021. Will you repeat after me? Raise your right hand. I, Janet Goodson, do solemnly affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter for the City of Oroville. Congratulations, Councilmember Goodson.
Thank you.
Scott Thompson, please.
Where do we stand? Staying here?
Wherever you're comfortable with. This is strange times.
It is.
Okay, we're just going to do the pledge, okay?
Sounds good.
I, Scott Thompson,
I, Scott Thompson,
do solemnly affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter for the City of Oroville. Congratulations. Okay, Chrissy Riggs.
Come on down.
Will you raise your right hand, please? I, Chrissy Riggs,
I, Chrissy Riggs,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter
discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter
for the city of Oroville.
for the city of Oroville.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let me come down and put on my mask.
Hi, Justin.
He's recording it for later. He likes to
I absolutely, always.
I feel so silly.
Okay, well, under the new council, we will move on to regular business. Item number 6 is, I'm looking for a
Mayor?
motion.
If we could just, for one moment, Jackie, is everything set in the computer so that Councilperson Riggs will be able to vote using her pad over there now?
Yes.
Okay. Do we need to do the flags? Did I say Draper? I'm sorry. Councilperson Riggs, I apologize.
You said Briggs?
Already, huh?
Okay, well, item number 6, meeting calendar for 2021 and council meeting procedures. Has everyone had a chance to look at the calendar? Does anyone have any objections to the calendar? Looking for a motion to adopt the calendar for the meeting calendar for 2021.
I move that we adopt
I
the meeting.
move that we adopt, and I'm sorry, was that Councilperson Smith?
Mr. Mayor, before we move to the adoption of the calendar, this is a multifaceted item here that has several components to it. So we need to cover all of those components unless you would like to break it down and vote multiple times on the same item.
Talking about the calendar.
I'm talking about the calendar. The meeting calendar also contains procedures in it, which is the procedure regarding closed session and also the time of the meetings. So the 3 components that we would need to cover in that is any changes in procedure that the council would like, and meeting times, and the dates on the calendar. So that's,
Okay,
we can
well,
either do
let's-
3 or 1, whatever's up to you.
Let's cover those 3 items for item number 6. Is everyone happy with the meeting calendar, just the calendar part of it? Looking for a motion to adopt the calendar.
I move that we adopt the calendar for 2021.
Okay, and then item number 2 on item number 6 is that the new policy set forward would be that council members need to be present to participate in closed session.
Mr. Mayor, just a point of procedural process. If we're going to take a motion, we need a second and a vote. If we're going to break it down into 3 different ones, so we would have to do each one
Yeah,
individually.
You're absolutely right. I got ahead of myself there. Back to item number 1.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Councilmember Goodson?
Yes.
The motion carries with 7 yeses and 0 nos.
Okay, moving on, item number 2 of item number 6 is policy that the council members would need to be present to participate in closed session.
So moved.
I would like to speak on that item.
Councilmember Goodson?
Yes. I have had several conversations with our city administrator, and I asked Mr. Huber, our city attorney, to weigh in on that as well. It's my understanding that there's a staff report, and I was wondering if Bill would like to speak on that.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor and Councilperson Goodson, I can provide some background on that. The request to have the procedure to have the closed sessions in person only is to preserve the confidentiality of those closed sessions. Due to the fact that the closed sessions would require all of the council members to be here, it would be important that we properly socially distance within the council chambers. They'll have to be done in these chambers. It can no longer be done in my office. There's just not adequate room in there. We've tried to have a meeting in there, and it's just not, we can't socially distance ourselves properly. We should also role model best practices of the CDC by wearing masks and staying an appropriate distance. If the council adopts this procedure, the closed sessions will occur in this chamber. We will make some modifications to the chamber prior to the next meeting. Those will include plexiglass dividers between the council persons and things like that. We will have the fan running at all times in here, and we will have better filtration to take out anything that might be in the air. In order to preserve the confidentiality of the closed session, the microphones will be turned off. There will be no broadcasting of this virtually anywhere. So the only ones that will be privy to what is said in closed sessions are those that will be in here. So I believe that with that background information, why we're doing it, and what we will do to ensure the health of our council, I will turn it back over to you.
Was there anything else, Councilmember Goodson?
No, I just thought it best to hear directly from our city administrator on that subject. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate you doing that.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak on that item?
Are there any public members that would like to speak on this item? Mr. Mayor, Linda Draper would like to speak on this item.
Thank you. I would hope that everyone would wear a mask. If it's going to be required that people attend closed session in person, then masks should be required for everyone on the council. And I think that would go a long way toward encouraging people to attend in person.
Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor, I believe that is the only public speaker that is showing that they want to speak on that. Oh, actually, it looks like Citizen David Goodson would like to speak on this item.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, and good evening to the City Council. I do understand the reasons for confidentiality and such, and the measures that I heard that were described by the city administrator for purposes of safety, plexiglass, and masks. And I'm really hoping that the leadership, which you all are the leadership of our city, would model best practices, because it's one thing to ask others to do something and then not model that. We are in a very severe pandemic, and people will follow the leadership of what they see. So I'm just hoping that that you all as leaders will keep people safe. There are some people on there, such as my wife, that have pre-existing health conditions, and African American people are more affected by this than other groups, ethnic groups. So I believe that for everyone's safety and for overall, that best practices should be followed. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that is the last of the public speakers.
I believe we have a motion and a second.
Councilmember Goodson?
You want
Yes.
to speak, Mr. Halley?
I believe the motion, Councilperson Hatley, was to adopt the procedure as listed in the agenda.
Yes.
If you want to attend closed session as a council person, you have to be physically present.
And
You cannot, there is no proxy votes.
right, and is it my understanding, I just wanted clarification in regards to the motion that the guidelines that under the direction of our city administrator, Bill LaGrone, would be followed through. And I just wanted to clarify that that is a part of that motion.
I'm willing to amend that the motion would be that the policy and procedure would be in person, provided that would be initiated upon the mitigating equipment that has been promised by the city administrator, plexiglass, and then whatever you mentioned.
We would put in plexiglass dividers, and essentially what we'll put in is a better air filter for the circulation system, so that we keep the air moving. I mean, and then the other thing I believe the councilperson is Goodson is getting at is that we will practice best practices as far as social distancing and wearing masks. But that is not, just to reiterate, that is not part of the motion. That's what I said.
Councilmember Hatley, waiting for your vote. Clerk?
Sorry. Motion carries with 7 yeses and 0 nos.
Third part of the item was the time for the meetings. And I would like to recommend that we start at 4 o'clock with closed session starting no later than 4:30.
Open session. Closed at 4, moving to open at 4:30.
Moving to open at 4:30.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, just the conversation that you and I had earlier today regarding that is that we will also, as part of our procedure in the future, set the public hearings at times specific for the public. We will not do a public hearing before 5:15. That way, if anybody wishes to attend that works during the day, we will not have a public hearing during the normal work hours. So what the idea would be is closed session from 4 until 4:30 with a hard start at 4:30. And we would conduct our consent calendar business and public comment, and then set specific times for public hearings. That way all that wish to participate in a public hearing could certainly be present.
Mm-hmm. And just, Mr. Mayor, if I might, for procedurally, let me just amend what Bill said for a moment. So the set times would be at or after that time. So you wouldn't, if you put down, for example, 5:30 for a public hearing, if the item that you were dealing with at the moment at beginning at 5 o'clock lasted 45 minutes, it's okay for that to finish that item. And but that public hearing would not be before the posted time. It would be
Right.
at or after.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Is that right?
Councilmember Pittman?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate. Okay. At the beginning of our closed session time, it's fine with me. The one thing I would like to stress is that our closed session time to reopen for the public access or public part of it needs to be really set and be a hard, fast number. So our public doesn't sit out in the audience waiting and waiting and waiting, or if they're coming from somewhere else, they know what time the public part of our meeting starts. And I don't care whatever time that is. Just make sure that the public knows when to expect the meeting to start. That's all.
Yes, sir. I believe that what the mayor has given us is 4 o'clock for closed, and then a hard start of 4:30 for
That's fine, yeah.
open.
Just so the public's aware of the time we're going to start, so they're not wandering out here in the front lobby.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. So closed session would begin at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Open session would begin at 4:30 p.m. with public hearings no later than 5:15.
We'll do time.
Okay. All right. Looking for a motion?
So just a clarification question. So, because there are times when we may not be able to complete that business from 4 to 4:30 if we have a hard start at 4:30. So is it the intention or the thinking then, could we carry?
Yes, sir.
In,
The intention would be is that if it goes beyond 4:30 in a closed session item, we would carry it to the end of the meeting.
okay, but out of respect for the general
We could
public.
carry it, we can also go past, we just can't start the public communication beforehand. So, are we all clear with the motion?
Are there any public speakers on this item? Mr. Mayor, there are no public speakers on this item.
Looking for a vote?
I didn't have a motion. I haven't had a first and second yet.
I move that the closed session commence at 4 p.m. and the open session would start at 4:30. The public hearings would begin no later than 5:15. Any business that has not been completed would be completed at the end of the council meeting. out of
Councilperson
respect
Goods.
For the public.
Councilperson Goodson, can I ask you to amend your first on this for one part, that public hearings will begin no sooner than 5:15?
Yes, amendment that public hearings will begin no sooner than 5:15.
I'll second that.
Councilmember Goodson?
Yes.
Motion carries with 7 yeses and 0 nos.
Now, Mr. Mayor, just one more thing on this item. I know we're kind of putting a lot on the plate here. Is there any changes that you or the council would like to see in the preparation of the agenda, the order of the agenda, or this is your opportunity to ask at this time. Of course, you can do it at any time, but at this time, if you'd like to see any changes to our process or our procedure so that we can present a better agenda for you, or one that works better for our council.
Yeah, I don't have any changes to that. I think we can deal with that at a future meeting. We've kind of got a lot going on right now.
Thank you, sir.
Moving on to item number 7, appointment of vice mayor. I nominate Scott Thompson for vice mayor.
Second. I'd second that, please.
Councilmember Goodson, did you wish to speak on this item?
No, I wanted to speak on the prior, but that's okay. We can move forward.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Goodson?
Yes.
Motion carries with 7 yeses and 0 nos.
Just want to appreciate everybody's confidence to serve in this capacity for the city of Oroville, especially with the caliber of people that we have on this council. I'm really excited for the years we have ahead. I think we have a great council, and again, just really honored to serve the city and serve with everybody here. Thank you for your confidence to be the vice mayor. I'll do my due diligence to serve well.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Vice Mayor. It's my honor, and I believe that your integrity and honesty is above reproach. So congratulations, and thank you for your dedication to this community. Moving on to item number 8, council appointments to committee. Did we need a public comment on that, Vice Mayor? Mr. Attorney?
You should, if anyone.
Does anyone wish to speak on that?
Are there any public members that would like to speak on the vice mayor selection? Mr. Mayor, I'm not seeing any public speakers on this item.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to item number 8, council appointments to committees, commissions, and boards. The mayor may appoint council members to various committees, commissions, and boards, or leave assignments to the status quo. Once the mayor has made these assignments, the council will vote to confirm the assignments. Does anyone wish to speak on this item?
Are there any public speakers on this item? Mr. Mayor, I'm not seeing any public speakers on this item.
All right, having none, we'll move on to the committee assignments. Airport land use. We have one representative, David Pittman. Arts Commission, one representative and one alternate. The representative shall be Janet Goodson. Alternate shall be Eric Smith. BCAG, Butte County Associations of Governments. We have one primary, one alternate. I shall be the primary, and Scott Thompson, vice mayor, shall be the alternate. Butte County Air Quality Control Board. We have one primary, one alternate. I shall be the primary. Scott Thompson shall be the alternate. Chamber of Commerce. We have one primary, one alternate. Scott Thompson shall be the primary. Chrissy Riggs shall be the alternate. Citizens Oversight Committee. We have two primaries, one alternate. Primaries shall be Janet Goodson and Eric Smith, with an alternate of Art Hatley. Butte County Continuum of Care. We have one primary, and we're going to assign an alternate. Eric Smith shall be the primary. Janet Goodson shall be the alternate. Executive Committee, Intergovernmental. We have three primaries. Primaries shall be Chuck Reynolds, David Pittman, Eric Smith. League of California Cities, one primary, one alternate. Chrissy Riggs shall be the primary. Eric Smith shall be the alternate. Loan Advisory, Housing, and Economic Development, three primaries. Primaries shall be Chuck Reynolds, Chrissy Riggs, David Pittman. Oroville Downtown Business Association, one primary, shall be Chrissy Riggs. Oroville Recreation Area Committee, one primary, one alternate. The primary shall be Scott Thompson. The alternate shall be Eric Smith. Supplemental Benefit Committee shall have three primaries, three alternates, but I only have one alternate listed. Primary shall be Chuck Reynolds, Scott Thompson, and David Pittman. Sewage Commission of Oroville Region, we have one primary and one alternate. Primary shall be Chuck Reynolds, alternate shall be David Pittman. Sustainable Groundwater Management shall have one primary, one alternate. Primary shall be Eric Smith. Alternate shall be Art Hadley. State Theater Arts Guild, 1 primary. Primary shall be Scott Thompson. Tourism, 1 primary. Primary shall be Chrissy Riggs. Veteran Memorial Park, 1 primary. Primary shall be Art Hatley.
Mr. Mayor, for clarification, can you state the alternate for the Supplemental Benefits Committee?
Chrissy Riggs.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any comments on these assignments? Do we have any public comment?
Are there any public speakers on this item? Mr. Mayor, I'm not seeing any public speakers on this item.
Having none, I'm looking for a motion to accept the committee assignments.
Second?
Councilmember Goodson?
Yes.
Motion carries with 7 yeses and 0 nos.
Moving on to reports, discussions, and correspondence. Does anyone from the council have any announcements or reports that they would like to share? Having none, I'll speak. I'd like to welcome Councilmember Riggs to the council. I think you'll find that it's a good team. There's a good group here at the city, and we would just like to welcome you. So
Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you for being willing to serve.
I appreciate that and have seen that this is a good team, and that was a big part of why I was eager and excited to join it. So thank you guys, and thank you to the citizens for voting me in.
We're excited to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, having no further comments from the council or announcements, item number 2, future agenda items. Is there anything that anyone wishes to see on the agenda in the future? Having nothing, Councilmember Smith?
And this is really more to Chief Deal, as far as reporting to us, as far as kind of some of the future plans with Pop Team. And then I just an anecdotal observation, there's been an uptick kind of in a lot of loitering issues. And I don't know if there's appropriate to have a report, at some point maybe to kind of report back to us on kind of some of the efforts going on with that. I know it's just a concern of the business community. Just, again, it's anecdotal. Maybe there's not a problem, but it feels like it. So.
Was that it?
That's it.
That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just a
All right.
request.
Councilmember Pittman?
Yeah, this request came from a couple of constituents that contacted me, and I don't know where we can go with it, but I thought it's worthy enough to bring the question up and offer it to the city attorney to take a look at. The item was, can the city, as it has an elections code, add to the elections code for a identification system for voters? Is that possible, so that all of our elections would have a stronger identification other than a signature? And specifically, I was asked, can they put the signature on the ballot? I don't know. I said, I will ask, and you don't have to answer tonight, but I think it's an interesting idea because we do have an ordinance that involves elections, and I know our county clerk conducts the elections for us. So, and I'm not asking for any reason from any recent election, but nationwide, there's a lot of problems with this issue, and it's interesting that maybe we start the ball rolling here, that we have some kind of voter ID system, and I don't know if we can do that or not. I'm just curious.
I will certainly take a look at it. You may be in a situation where if you decide to do that you may be running your own elections. The county may decide to not allow the city to consolidate elections. But but let me look into it.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
I had many questions about it, and I don't have the answers, so.
Hey. You know, I forgot to mention something too over the break here that we supposedly had. I went out and traveled around to some homeless camps and that are slated for eradication and spoke with the tenants of several of these camps and gave them met some interesting people. Some of them local, some of them not. Gave them contacts to the laborers union with instruction to that they you know, some people just don't, they get stuck in this little rut and they don't realize that pulling out of it is so close. And the labor union is looking for people all the time. They will help you with your dues and even pointed them in the directions of some local people in the union that could possibly give them a ride for a short-term basis to get them going. So just want to let you know that we're moving forward with a lot of the, is it homeless or what is it?
The unhoused.
What is it?
The unhoused.
The unhoused.
We're in general terms.
The unhoused. Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to share that boots on the ground. We're out there trying to make it happen. So administration reports. Mr. Lando.
My impression is that there's been an uptick in development activity, and I guess I want to give kudos to both Dawn and Wes in terms of the way they're handling it. Oroville's definitely open for business.
Absolutely. Appreciate that. Dawn? That's with a W.
Just real quick, just a welcome to Councilmember Riggs. We're delighted to have you. If you haven't driven in towards the intersection of Oro Dam and Feather River Boulevard, you will have noticed that Maverick has broken ground on their fueling station, so that's quite an accomplishment. We're excited about that, to see that corner come alive again. And the auction for the de-assessed items from our museums is taking place, or bids are opening on January 9th. The information is on our city website, but also I've emailed that link and information to all of our council members. And lastly, Happy New Year.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ruth? No big good news for us today, Ruth? Chief Deal.
With the end of the year, I just wanted to report some numbers on activity in your public safety department for the year. The police department responded to 45,920 incidences. They wrote 5,013 police reports. They issued 885 citations, and they made 2,390 arrests in 2020. Fire department, between their medical calls, their traffic accidents, and their fires, responded to 5,441 calls for service in 2020. To some of the questions that Councilmember Smith had for me, the POP team right now, I'd mentioned in the previous meeting that we're working towards a model. And the reason we're doing this is because the staffing levels are low, and I just don't have the personnel to fill that team on a full-time basis. So I'm working on a model that will fill that on an overtime, part-time basis. So some of those problems can still be addressed. The officers or employees will be required to detail what they're going to do and what problems they've identified to address. It's still in the works. Last thing is, in a previous meeting, I don't remember which council member brought it up, but there was a discussion about a perceived increase in traffic accidents in the city. And at the year end, we actually ran a query on 2019 and 2020, and there was about 150 less accidents in 2020 than there was in 2019. So our numbers significantly went down for this year. They could be up again next year, but just running the numbers, that's what it was. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney.
Nothing, thank you, sir.
City Administrator LeGrone.
I thought you were going to skip me. I wanted to report back on the, you guys probably haven't thought about this in a while, but the fence on Table Mountain. We were actually looking at that over the last couple week and specifically today. The fence out there, to report back to the city what the condition of the rails are and the fencing material itself. It is reached its end of life. It's not going to be fixed or repaired or restretched or anything else. It's been put together with baling wire. There's been cement stakes driven into the poles to keep those in the ground. It's an example of infrastructure in the city of Oroville that has just reached its life end. I mean, we may have right now currently, we've heard talk of a surplus. You have failing infrastructure. This is just another piece of that failing infrastructure. We're going to have to do some permanent replacements for that. So our Public Works Department is looking at doing something there temporarily until we can get to our final solution for that walkway. So they are working on that. We'll have something soon of a temporary nature there until we can get the permanent item put in. The item earlier tonight regarding the procedures for the council, I'll bring that back at the next meeting so that the council can discuss that for any potential changes. If you have any, please think about those over the next couple weeks, and we can get to those and the council can make decisions based on that. Other than that, over the last couple weeks, I had a personal experience with COVID in my home. Fortunately, I got off lucky. I had a very fortunate incident for myself. My mother-in-law was stricken with COVID, and she pulled through it. So I understand the uncertainty people have with COVID and what it may or may not be. So I just want to keep all the people out there in our thoughts and our prayers that do have COVID, and hope that they have the light cases of COVID. The other thing, I just want to wish everybody a Happy New Year. Thank the council for the opportunities that you've given me. I look forward to working for you this year. Welcome, Councilperson Griggs. I look forward to working with and for you. I believe that, as the mayor said, this is a wonderful organization, and we do have a great team, not only department heads, but you'll find that even our everybody from the very bottom to the very top, they put their heart and soul into Oroville every day, and they want to make it a better place.
Thank you. Councilmember Pittman.
Yeah, I did have a question about the sewer line up on Table Mountain Boulevard. What's the current schedule for that? And the reason I'm asking is many people have asked me because that's kind of a bottleneck area. Is that going to continue down? How long? How far is it going to go? That kind of question.
It is going to continue down, and it is going to go probably over the next few weeks. I have the detailed schedule in my office. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay.
It's really, if people could go another direction, in the meantime, it is something that is absolutely necessary to be done, and there's just no other way to do it other than to run it right down the way that it's going.
Well, I appreciate that. I just didn't have the answer to that question.
Sure.
So
now I can get you the exact timeline of that.
Thank you.
Could I make a comment real quick to that?
Councilmember Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to that end, I got jammed up in that myself the other day going to Home Depot. And if they had some signage before you got to the bridge, so you could make that option to go down Montgomery, and or make that choice to wait in line, when they're single lane, that would be great. So I noticed that, there was no signage, so you just there you are, you're sitting there. I could have gone down Montgomery and avoided that. So anyway, just pass that on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Okay, with that, we will adjourn till January 19th, 2021 at 4 p.m. for closed session, 4:30 p.m. for open session.
There you go.
Meeting adjourned.
Bye, all.